Hello and welcome to this short video introduction to the University and College Union at Edinburgh University and beyond. We're recording this in October of 2020, and over the next 10 minutes we're going to cover the structure of our union branch inside the university, some of the structures of the university itself and how we negotiate and engage with the university, and then look very briefly at the national structures of our union. So part 1 is the University and College Union, Edinburgh University branch. And the first thing to mention really is our members. The Edinburgh University branch and of the University and College Union is made up of thousands of ordinary members. These are lecturing and research staff, library, administration and computing staff, other staff on pay grades 6 to 10 and also postgraduate research students. The University and College Union is usually shortened to UCU, and when we talk about the Edinburgh UCU branch, we're speaking about all of these members together. As an organising union rather than a service union, UCU is really led by members getting involved and working together. This membership then is really the basis of our branch, and we'll come back to this slide to fill in the rest of the local branch structure as we go along. So next we have local contacts. Members who are active in the union and in their schools or departments can become UCU local contacts. Being a local contact is a really great way to be involved in the union and to help other members and colleagues. So local contacts can do a range of things, like putting up posters and distributing leaflets to spread the word about UCU campaigns or events, hosting lunch or coffee hours in their schools, organising local meetings and events, and also helping get the vote out for union ballots and elections. Now, in schools where there's a really sort of strong union presence, local contacts can also work together to help members to resolve issues and raise concerns. And elsewhere in schools where membership perhaps isn't so strong, local contacts have a really essential role in talking to members of staff and encouraging them to join the union. So becoming a local contact is a really great way to be more involved and more active in the union without undertaking any specialist training or officially representing members in disputes. However, many local contacts also choose to take reps training and go on to become union representatives. And this brings us on to talk about UCU reps. UCU reps are recognised representatives of the union working in their schools and departments. In practice, this can mean anything from talking informally to a line manager, helping a member to submit a written grievance, accompanying a member to a formal meeting with management, or referring a problem to the branch committee. Crucially, it also means organising to build industrial power by talking to staff outside the union and making the case for them to join UCU. And in order to reflect the work that they take on for their colleagues and fellow members, UCU reps receive training and time off work in order to represent members. Now, often kind of combining and overlapping in practice, UCU reps and local contacts are really the first point of contact for members in their school, and they play a very crucial part in linking membership to the committee, which brings us then to talk about the elected representatives of the branch, and that is UCU Edinburgh Branch Committee. A huge amount of work goes into representing the thousands of members in the UCU Edinburgh branch, and because of this, the branch has a really large committee that meets regularly to coordinate this work. Now, a list of roles in the committee should be on your screen at this point, and this kind of covers everything from equalities to comms, sustainability to anti-casualisation. This committee is elected by the membership of the branch at the annual general meeting. And then if some roles are ever left unfilled, these can be appointed by the committee throughout the year. Now, the committee has the power to take some decisions on behalf of the branch and regularly communicates with our employers on a range of issues. And this means that when we negotiate over issues like pay, contracts and pensions, the committee represents members in discussions with the university. So a fuller picture of the branch is beginning to develop here, but we haven't yet mentioned a really key link between membership, reps and committee members, and that is our working groups and subcommittees. Lots of work done by the branch is done by working groups or subcommittees, and these are created by the branch committee, but are also filled by ordinary members who work on the areas that affect or interest them, or where they want to see change. And these include equality strands like BAME and LGBT+, but also groups that deal with issues like academic planning and casualisation. Overall and altogether, these members and representatives make up the UCU Edinburgh University branch. And now that we have an image of how UCU is structured at Edinburgh, This takes us on to part 2, communicating with the university. A large part of representing our members is talking with university management about how we can improve the university and often negotiating over pay and working conditions. Now, there are a number of ways that we can do this. Often our first point of contact is the Joint Union Liaison Committee, sometimes shortened to JULC or just JU. This is a committee made up of representatives from UCU, Unison and Unite, who are the other recognised trade unions working at the University of Edinburgh. And this committee meets regularly to ensure that the trade unions present a united front to the university on employment and other issues. UCU shares its offices with the joint unions at 24 Buccleuch Street. So, just as we did with the branch structure, we'll come back to this slide to fill in our points of contact for communicating with the university. And that next point of contact then is the Human Resources Policy Development Group. Representatives from the JULC meet with university managers here to consult on policies at the Human Resources Policy Development Group. Initialised as HRPDG, this group is formally the principal route for the unions to reach agreements with university management. As you can see here, HRPDG is the primary point of contact between the JULC and representatives from university management. So next, we have the Combined Joint Consultation and Negotiating Committee. So when consultations have finished in the HRPDG, new policies and processes are then agreed between joint union representatives and university management at the Combined Joint Consultation and Negotiating Committee, sometimes initialised as the CJCNC. We're beginning to have a clearer picture here of how our communications with the university are structured, but there are two further bodies that sit outside or above this process in the university structure. The first of these is the Standing Consultative Committee for Redundancy Avoidance, and this standing committee, the SCRAA, is where university managers must inform joint union representatives of collective redundancies. This committee fits in above the usual channels of communication and alongside the final university governance body that we'll look at today, which is the University Court. The University Court is the university's governing body and is also the legal persona of the university. UCU Edinburgh elects one member to sit on the University Court, with the other campus trade unions also electing a representative. And so there you have it. These are the formal ways in which UCU and the joint unions communicate with the university. And that also brings us to part 3, the national picture. Some of the work that UCU Edinburgh does also happens at a national and an international level. And so finally, before we wrap up, part 3 of this introduction gives a very brief sketch of how UCU functions beyond the University of Edinburgh, in Scotland and in the UK. So, at a national level, all the UCU branches in Scotland meet under the umbrella of UCU Scotland, which has its offices in Glasgow and employs several full-time staff. UCU Scotland has regular conferences to which our branch can send delegates, as well as an elected Higher Education Committee, HEC Scotland, which acts for the university branches at a national level. Now, as you can see here, this national structure links in our branch with other branches across Scotland. And then finally, above UCU Scotland is UCU UK, which has headquarters in London. All university branches in the UK and Northern Ireland meet through the UK Higher Education Committee, as well as various UK-wide conferences throughout the year, to which our branch can also send delegates. And so that completes the organising structure of UCU at the local, national and international level. And that also concludes this brief video introduction to the structures of UCU Edinburgh. If you want more information, please visit our website at www.ucuedinburgh.org.uk or also email us at ucu@ed.ac.uk. Thank you so much for listening.